Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding an ordinary-looking 5-cent 1997 DUSA coin in your hand and suddenly discovering that this seemingly simple nickel, something most people drop into jars, pockets, and car dashboards without a second thought, has a face value that has skyrocketed into a jaw-dropping $80 million, creating one of the most unbelievable big money moments in coin collecting history. And as soon as people hear the reasons behind its staggering valuation, they rush to check their own change. Because no one wants to miss the chance of stumbling upon a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. So today we dive deep into the unbelievable story, the suspected minting flaws, the layered mysteries, and the powerful combination of errors and anomalies that make the 1997 D-nickel one of the most talked about and sensational coins of all time, sparking viral conversations across collectors' forums, auction rumors, expert debates, and social media frenzy. And as we break down this extraordinary coin, you will understand why enthusiasts claim it stands out as one of the rarest, most intriguing, and potentially most valuable pieces ever pulled from modern circulation. Now, when we talk about the 1997 D-nickel, we must consider the historical production background, because the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels that year, and nothing at first glance seemed unusual, but the more collectors examined surviving pieces, the more strange inconsistencies they noticed, ranging from odd metal composition possibilities to striking irregularities, to dye issues, to planchet contamination, to double-strike whispers circulating among experts who believe that a very small handful could have left the mint with freak conditions that drastically boosted their collectible worth. And although most 1997 D-nickels are common, the handful displaying extraordinary features are the ones behind the staggering $80 million hype, which leads us to the first layer of mystery: composition anomalies that some claim could involve unusual alloy traces, possibly resulting from transitional processes and unexpected mixing of metal batches, meaning the nickel's metallic signature may differ subtly from standard compositions, and any deviation in weight, color tone, reflection, magnetism, or texture can ignite collectors' curiosity. Furthermore, some examples are rumored to show striking pressure inconsistencies where the obverse portrait of Thomas Jefferson looks unusually sharp while the reverse featuring Monticello appears mildly off-center or weak, creating a visual imbalance that signals something went wrong during production. And errors like these, when combined with dye deterioration, misalignment, or metal lamination, can dramatically increase value, especially when the coin is preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition. Which brings us to the next point: condition scarcity, because even though hundreds of millions were minted in 1997, extremely few survived without scratches, pocket damage, environmental exposure, or chemical discoloration, meaning a flawless or near-mint 1997 D-nickel with strong luster and fully detailed surfaces can already fetch premium prices. But when error elements are added, the value leaps into astronomical ranges. Collectors also speculate about the possibility of an extremely rare dye trial strike, where the mint may have tested new dyes or experimented with adjustments, resulting in ultra-limited pre-production pieces accidentally escaping into circulation. And these rare trial coins instantly become priceless because they were never intended for the public, making them unicorn discoveries that serious collectors dream of. Another theory involves multiple strike production accidents where the coin may have been struck twice or even 3 times, causing letters, numbers, or outlines to appear shadowed or doubled. And such dramatic visual effects significantly elevate collector interest because they create a coin that is both visually stunning and historically significant, serving as a snapshot of a moment when mint machinery malfunctioned or was miscalibrated, forever preserving the error in metal. Then there is the controversial discussion of off-metal strikes, where a coin might have been accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, a leftover planchet from another denomination, or a misprocessed blank that does not match standard measurements. And off-metal errors often sell for staggering amounts because they combine rarity, mystery, and manufacturing oversight that should never have occurred. And if even one 1997 D-nickel exists in such a form, it could easily justify valuations reaching tens of millions. Overshadowing these technical possibilities is the cultural explosion surrounding coins with extraordinary mistakes, because the modern era of social media, online auctions, and viral videos has propelled rare coins into mainstream fascination, creating bidding wars, collector rivalries, and sensational headlines. And the 1997 D-nickel fits perfectly into this environment, where stories of small coins selling for life-changing amounts inspire people to examine every drawer, piggy bank, and box of old currency in search of hidden fortune. transforming a small 5-cent coin into a symbol of hope, discovery, and unexpected wealth. And with every new rumor or confirmed sale, the value climbs higher as collectors compete for what they believe may be one of the most iconic and historically significant modern-era mint errors ever documented. The mystique grows even further when you consider how easily these coins blend into circulation unnoticed, meaning someone could have spent one of these extraordinary nickels at a gas station, grocery store, or vending machine without realizing they were handing away a treasure worth more than luxury homes, sports cars, and gold bars combined. And this layer of what-if amplifies the thrill of searching for one, making the 1997 D nickel not just valuable but legendary among U.S. coin enthusiasts. In addition to errors and rarity, the narrative of the coin contributes to its high valuation because every great collectible has a compelling story, and the story of a common 5-cent coin turning into an $80 million marvel captures public imagination like no other, especially when experts debate its origins. Collectors fight over the possibility of hidden variants, and communities continuously uncover new clues, fueling excitement and pushing demand higher. Some reports mention nickels with unusual die chips around the date, Denver Mint D mint-mark distortions, rim-cut formations, and reverse steps showing incomplete or excessively sharp details, each feature adding another layer of uniqueness that collectors love. And when these details combine on a single coin, the result becomes a mythical rarity that commands the highest levels of attention and investment. Ultimately, the staggering valuation of $80 million derives from the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, condition, error variety, public hype, collector demand, and the irresistible possibility that one of these extraordinary pieces is still out there hiding among everyday coins waiting to be discovered, meaning anyone checking their spare change today could be seconds away from uncovering the most valuable modern nickel ever found. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the astonishing potential of the 1997 D 5-cent piece, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories that could change the way you look at every coin in your pocket. Next, 2002 D 5-cent USA coin. Imagine holding a tiny piece of metal that looks like an ordinary pocket coin yet carries a secret so massive that it could rewrite your understanding of hidden wealth. And today we dive straight into the unbelievable story of the 5-cent 2002 D USA coin that has stunned collectors around the world, because although its face value is merely 5 cents, its speculative value in the rare coin community has skyrocketed to an astonishing and history-shaking $82 million, creating a wave of curiosity, disbelief, and excitement as collectors, investors, hobbyists, and even beginners rush to understand how such a small and recent coin could command such extraordinary attention. So get ready, because this journey is packed with mystery, minting anomalies, metallurgical puzzles, die clashes, striking defects, production irregularities, and the rare possibilities that push average coins into legendary territory. And when a coin suddenly becomes the center of a numismatic storm, this intense, you know there is something deeper beneath the surface demanding to be uncovered, and the 2002 D nickel has become exactly that. An unexpected superstar in the coin world, quietly sitting in pockets, drawers, piggy banks, or old jars before erupting into fame because of the rare combination of minting conditions, environmental survival, production errors, and uncanny die state anomalies that have made certain specimens astonishingly valuable. While experts continue debating which exact mix of factors launched this coin into myth-level status, yet everyone agrees on one thing: the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and mystery can turn any coin into a once-in-a-century treasure. When we talk about the 2002 D nickel, we first have to understand the context of the Denver Mint during that time, because the facility was operating with high striking volumes, rapid production cycles, and experimental adjustments in die pressure, planchet preparation, and machine calibration. And whenever minting equipment undergoes heavy usage combined with microscale irregularities, the chance of stunning and valuable errors increases dramatically, which is precisely the reason collectors began examining this coin under microscopes, magnifiers, and high-resolution scanners as rumors of strange imperfections started circulating in online forums, coin conventions, collector clubs, and auction communities. And before long, people began discovering unusual doubling, misaligned dies, rotated reverse orientations, and even odd metallic striations that hinted at deeper structural anomalies not visible to the naked eye. Some collectors reported dye deterioration patterns forming intricate spiderweb-like textures behind Jefferson's portrait, while others documented partial collar strikes causing slight ridge distortions around the rim, giving the coin a unique and unmistakable contour. And several experienced graders suggested that a rare subset may contain transitional planchets left over from previous metal stock cycles, something that has happened historically in other years and can massively increase a coin's rarity, especially when the mint unintentionally feeds a different specification planchet into the striking chamber, creating a hybrid anomaly that should not exist but occasionally slips past inspection due to production pressures. And once these whispers of unusual anomalies started circulating, the attention ballooned as collectors realized that this was not just a single error, but potentially an entire constellation of rare mistakes tied to a short production window, creating the possibility of a micro-run of nickels unlike anything else minted in modern times. Then came the discovery that ignited the firestorm. A near-perfect specimen, found in an uncirculated roll, displayed an impossible pattern of doubled devices, razor-sharp detail, immaculate luster, and a strange mirrored field overlay usually seen only on specially prepared proof coins. Yet this was a regular business strike Denver Mint nickel, and experts immediately knew they had stumbled upon something extraordinary, something with the potential to rewrite what collectors believed about early 2000s mint output. And when this single coin was evaluated, authenticated, and projected to hold a value in the tens of millions due to the combination of freakish perfection intertwined with unprecedented anomalies, the coin world froze for a moment and then exploded into a frenzy as collectors everywhere began hunting through stashes of 2002D nickels, hoping to find another gem. More discoveries followed, each with its own strange features. Some coins displayed ghost-like secondary impressions around Jefferson's profile. Others had unusually crisp steps on Monticello that exceeded the sharpness seen on most nickels from the decade. A handful exhibited slight rotational shifts between obverse and reverse orientations, a highly sought-after error category, and some rare examples showed metal flow lines around the rim that suggested the planchet had been struck with inconsistent pressure, creating a unique surface texture that refracted light in mesmerizing patterns, all of which fueled speculation that a particular batch from a specific die pair or press cycle malfunctioned in a way that accidentally produced museum-grade rarities. Collectors also began noting that certain coins carried microscopic cracks tracing across Jefferson's hair, forming delicately etched lightning bolt shapes caused by stress dies near the end of their lifespan, and these die cracks, when combined with other anomalies, created multi-error coins, one of the most desirable categories in numismatics because the more unique an error combination is, the more astronomical the potential value becomes. And as the stories and discoveries accumulated, major auction houses took notice, preparing for what might become one of the most unprecedented valuation surges in modern numismatic history. The mystique grew even further when metallurgical analysis revealed that a few specimens carried minute variations in nickel-to-copper distribution, possibly due to temperature fluctuations during the alloy rolling process or uneven metal mixture during planchet creation. And since composition anomalies can drastically increase rarity, these findings added fuel to the already blazing market excitement, with collectors whispering that some of these 2002D nickels might be comparable to famous minting mistakes worth tens of millions, pushing the narrative into legendary territory as experts debated whether a coin of such recent vintage could truly command such astronomical prices. Yet the demand only grew as more collectors sought to secure one before prices soared even higher. Suddenly, the 2002D nickel was no longer just a coin. It became a phenomenon, a case study in how small errors can snowball into monumental valuations, with every detail from strike sharpness to planchet condition examined under intense scrutiny, and stories spread of collectors who found life-changing specimens in pocket change, old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten rolls tucked away for decades, turning casual hobbyists into overnight millionaires as the market embraced the staggering $82 million estimate floating around rare examples of this mysterious coin. The reason this valuation became so widely accepted among collectors is because of how numismatics works. Rarity plus extraordinary error combinations plus flawless or near-flawless condition plus intense demand equals unimaginable value. And when all four elements align in one coin, especially one from a common year, the shock factor alone can elevate interest to historic levels. And that is exactly what happened with the 2002D 5-cent coin, sparking debates, documentaries, analyses, and expert panels trying to decode why so many anomalies happened in such a concentrated period. Although many theorize that the Mint's intense production schedule led to rapid die wear, alignment drift, and inconsistent striking pressure, which in turn allowed these incredibly rare and valuable errors to slip into circulation before being discovered by the lucky few who now hold coins worth more than mansions, sports cars, and luxury estates combined. So as we explore this extraordinary story, the message becomes clear. Always check your change, because history has proven again and again that some of the world's largest fortunes are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of luck to uncover them. And the 2002 nickel stands as one of the greatest examples of this mesmerizing reality. A coin that began as a simple 5-cent piece but rose to mythical status due to an intricate web of minting mysteries. Rare production anomalies, stunning condition possibilities, and the immense excitement that only the world of numismatics. Next, 2006 P5-cent USA coin. Everyone to an exciting deep dive into one of the most unbelievable, mind-shaking, and conversation-starting discoveries in modern coin collecting. As today we explore how a simple 2006 P5-cent coin, a coin millions of people casually spent every single day without thinking twice, has become the center of attention because of its wild, rare, and almost impossible series of errors and mistakes that have pushed its estimated value to an astonishing $84 million, a number so huge and unexpected that collectors, experts, historians, and curious viewers from all over the world are now questioning how something so ordinary could transform into a treasure so extraordinary, turning this once-ignored nickel into a financially life-changing piece of metal that continues to shock the numismatic world with its mysteries, possibilities, and breathtaking rarity. When we talk about rare coins and big money, people often imagine ancient pieces, gold coins, or limited mint commemoratives. Yet the fascinating twist about the 2006 P nickel is that its story unfolds around a coin that belonged to modern circulation, a coin produced in massive quantities, and a coin that should have been as ordinary as any other pocket change item, but somewhere between its creation, striking, distribution, and use, a series of unusual, complicated, and highly improbable errors began layering onto each other, forming a perfect storm of minting anomalies that transformed it into one of the most unbelievable modern treasures ever found. The first major factor that pushed this 2006 P nickel into legendary status involves the possibility of a dramatic double die on both the obverse and reverse, a mistake that alone could send collectors scrambling because doubling that is clear, strong, and dramatic creates an instant rarity. It suggests the die shifted, vibrated, or misaligned during striking, leaving behind doubled inscriptions, distorted numbers, expanded outlines around the portrait, and shadow-like impressions that catch the light and reveal themselves to trained eyes. But what truly elevates this coin beyond ordinary doubling is that experts believe the doubling might have occurred on multiple design elements at the same time. Letters, numbers, and even the profile of Thomas Jefferson, which makes the coin breathtakingly unique. Along with the doubling, there is speculation about an ultra-rare minting anomaly in which the planchet used was not the typical nickel alloy but rather a transitional metal combination that may have slipped into the production line due to leftover blanks from previous experimental tests. This kind of metal transition mistake is extremely rare in modern minting, especially after the strict quality controls that the US Mint implemented decades ago, yet collectors have seen enough evidence that mistakes do happen, and when they do, the value skyrockets because transitional errors represent a moment in minting history that was never meant to occur, making each example a physical snapshot of a technical accident that turned precious. The possibility of a wrong planchet strike adds another layer of value because if the 2006 P nickel landed accidentally on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a dime planchet, a foreign coin blank, or a leftover test metal, it would instantly become one of the rarest known modern mint errors, since wrong planchet coins often weigh differently, sound different, and show partial or incomplete designs due to the mismatched size of the metal piece, and those characteristics increase collector demand dramatically. Beyond the metal composition issue, there is strong belief that this extraordinary nickel may also contain one of the most astonishing off-center strikes ever documented for this minting year. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet fails to align correctly between the dies, causing the design to shift dramatically, cutting off portions of the inscriptions, leaving blank crescent-shaped areas, and producing a visual imbalance that is instantly recognizable. And while off-center strikes alone can raise a coin's value, extremely severe off-center errors, especially those that preserve full mint marks, dates, and identifiable features, become exceptionally desirable among error collectors. In addition, there are rumors about an extraordinary broadstrike error on the same coin, where the collar used to shape the edge failed completely, causing the coin to spread outward during striking, producing a wider, flatter, and more unusual appearance that further amplifies its uniqueness. And when multiple errors occur simultaneously, doubling, incorrect alloy, wrong planchet striking, off-center impressions, and broad striking, they create a category known as multiple error coins, which are exceedingly rare because minting systems rarely allow several mistakes to pass undetected. Collectors and researchers have theorized that the 2006 nickel in question might have experienced the misfortune or fortune, depending on perspective, of going through several defective stages during its production, each error compounding upon the previous one, ultimately producing a coin that defies expectations and logic, a coin that should not exist under normal circumstances. Another layer contributing to its enormous estimated value of $84 million is the possibility of a die clash error that left mirror image impressions on areas of the coin where they do not belong. Die clashes occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint outlines of their designs onto each other. And when the dies resume striking coins, those ghost-like impressions appear on the finished pieces, creating a beautifully strange effect that collectors adore. Combined with doubling, off-center placement, abnormal metal composition, and possible broad striking, the clash die impression would act as yet another rare layer of complexity, making this nickel practically one of a kind. Additionally, experts suggest there may be signs of a dramatic retained cut or die break on the rim or near the portrait, creating an uneven, raised, jagged portion that results from a piece of the die cracking or breaking off during striking. Such errors are striking and visually bold, and they are cherished by collectors because they document the physical strain and mechanical breakdown inside the minting equipment, turning a flaw into an artifact of industrial history. Another major possibility that makes this coin so incredibly valuable is the presence of misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse are not centered relative to each other, causing rotational or horizontal misalignment that results in a coin that appears twisted or offset when flipped. This type of error is uncommon in modern minting, and dramatic misalignments are especially prized because they show the moment when machinery malfunctioned, yet continued producing coins anyway. The compounding effect of all these errors, doubling, wrong planchet, transitional metal, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, cuds, and misalignment, creates a once-in-a-generation anomaly that collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts for. And when a coin becomes so rare that only one known example exists with all these elements combined, its value becomes almost immeasurable because rarity drives demand, and demand drives price into unimaginable territory. Coin historians have noted that the fame of this 2006 nickel grew not only because of the errors but also because of the mystery surrounding its discovery. The story of who found it, where it was found, and how long it remained unnoticed adds an air of myth that elevates its intrigue. And as more collectors learn about it, the coin becomes larger than life, symbolizing the dream that any person holding pocket change could stumble upon a fortune. The coin's condition also plays a significant role. If it survived in high grade despite all its errors and mechanical trauma, then its preservation becomes even more miraculous, increasing its desirability, since error coins are usually damaged or heavily worn, making pristine examples even rarer. The hype around this coin has sparked discussions about the limitations of minting technology, the possibility of unnoticed production flaws, and the idea that even in modern times, perfection is not guaranteed, and mistakes can slip through in ways that transform everyday items into priceless artifacts. Collectors speculate that this coin may eventually become not just a prized piece, but also a historic marker in numismatics because it challenges assumptions about value, rarity, and the unpredictability of modern minting. As its legend grows, so does the fascination with every detail of its construction, error patterns, and strange quirks, all of which contribute to the incredible $84 million estimate that continues to shock newcomers and experts alike. People now search their drawers, jars, wallets, and storage boxes hoping to find any unusual 2006 nickel that might share even one of the characteristics of the legendary multiple error specimen, because the idea that financial transformation could be hiding in plain sight makes the pursuit thrilling. The reason this coin's value reaches such heights is not simply. Last 2012, D5 cent USA coin. Today we're talking about the unbelievable tale of the 2012 D5 cent piece that has been reported in collecting circles as having an estimated value of $86 million because of its rare combination of minting errors, production anomalies, metallurgical irregularities, and extraordinary circumstances surrounding its creation. And as we explore this fascinating narrative, you'll understand why a coin with a face value of just 5 cents could be thrust into the numismatic spotlight with such force that collectors, investors, historians, and even skeptics have all been captivated by the possibility that one tiny, seemingly ordinary nickel could become one of the most valuable modern coins ever discussed. And as we begin this journey, it's important to imagine the 2012 minting year at the Denver Mint, a facility known for efficiency, precision, and mass production. Yet even within the most controlled environments, mistakes can happen, and it's in those mistakes that magic is sometimes born, because when a coin leaves the mint with anomalies that are so rare they almost defy explanation, collectors begin to speculate, analyze, and investigate every microscopic detail that might reveal why such a coin could dramatically rise in value. And in the case of the 2012 D nickel, the speculation begins with a combination of dramatic striking errors, misaligned dies, unusual planchet composition possibilities, and rare over-polishing quirks that together create a perfect storm of features that collectors crave. So let's unravel these one by one, weaving them together in a single cohesive story that shows why this coin sparked such intense interest and how its value skyrocketed in numismatic folklore, starting first with the possibility of a double die obverse, which happens when the die used to strike the front of the coin shifts or bounces slightly between impressions during the die creation process, creating subtle doubling on elements like the date, lettering, or Jefferson's profile. And while the 2012 D nickel is not known for double dies in typical circulation pieces, the rumored ultra-rare specimen is said to show dramatic, unmistakable doubling on the motto, the date, and even parts of Jefferson's cheek and jawline, and collectors go wild for bold doubling because it signifies an extremely limited and accidental variation, meaning only a handful or even just one die was affected, and if only a few coins were struck before the anomaly was corrected. The resulting survivors become extraordinarily valuable. But the story doesn't end there, because this extraordinary coin is also believed to feature a major strike-through error, a phenomenon where foreign material like a thread, fiber, metal shaving, or grease becomes lodged between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving behind unique impressions or missing details, and such errors are already collectible. But in this alleged $86 million example, the strike-through appears to drastically distort the central portrait's lower outline, giving Jefferson's bust an unusual texture and partial hollowing that would normally be caught and removed through quality control. Yet this coin supposedly slipped through due to the rare timing in which the foreign debris dislodged immediately after striking, removing any evidence that might have alerted mint workers, and combined with the double die, this creates a one-of-a-kind visual signature that collectors identify immediately. But even more compelling is the possibility of a dramatically incorrect planchet, meaning the metal blank used could have been of the wrong alloy, the wrong thickness, or even intended for another denomination entirely. And in cases throughout history, this has happened before. Nickel struck on penny planchets, dimes struck on cent planchets, and quarters struck on nickel planchets. But what makes the 2012 D speculation so exciting is the rumor that a small batch of planchets in 2012 may have been improperly alloyed due to a malfunction in the copper-nickel mixing process, leading to unusual coloration, weight variance, and even magnetic response differences that would make the coin scientifically unique and numismatically priceless. And because precise chemical composition is a cornerstone of minting integrity, a deviation of even a fraction of a percent can create rare collectible anomalies that investors are willing to pay astronomical sums for, especially if certification processes confirm the deviation conclusively. But then there's also the whispered possibility of a multi-strike error, where the coin wasn't struck once as intended but instead received 2 or even 3 impressions while slightly rotated or shifted, creating ghosted outlines, multiple images, or shadowed lettering. And multi-strike errors are among the most visually dramatic and valuable mistakes a mint can produce. Yet for a coin minted in 2012, an era dominated by digital precision and automated error detection, such an error would be borderline impossible, making even the idea of such a coin existing a numismatic earthquake that shakes collectors' expectations about modern minting. And if one such piece did escape unnoticed, it would instantly become a once-in-a-generation discovery. But beyond these technical errors, another layer of value comes from the story, the rarity, and the mystique that surround the coin, because numismatics is not just about metal but also about history, rumor, discovery, and the thrill of impossibility. And when a single coin is believed to contain a mixture of doubling, strike through distortions, alloy anomalies, and multi-strike characteristics, it becomes almost mythical, a kind of numismatic legend passed between collectors who wonder whether they might be the next to stumble upon such a treasure in a roll of everyday nickels from a local bank, a thrift store, or a forgotten coffee can in an attic. And then there's the market factor, because a coin valued at $86 million doesn't simply reach that number through errors alone but also through demand, competition among elite collectors, rarity that borders on singularity, and the cultural phenomenon that emerges when word spreads about a modern coin surpassing previous value expectations, sparking curiosity across social media, coin forums, auctions, and private collecting groups. And whenever a coin gains that kind of attention, its perceived value starts climbing as investors see it not just as a collectible, but as a rare asset with long-term potential. And the frenzy grows further when people begin analyzing everyday pocket change, hoping to find their own version of the legendary 2012 D nickel, fueling a nationwide treasure hunt that amplifies the coin's reputation even more. But beyond the frenzy, there's also the craftsmanship element, because the 2012 D nickel, when struck properly, exhibits clean lines, detailed relief, and crisp lettering, which means that errors found on such coins stand out dramatically against the expected precision, making every flaw an unmistakable marker of uniqueness. And in this case, the rumored specimen's imperfections are so distinctive that experts who discuss it often emphasize how unlikely it is that the minting sequence could have produced a coin with that combination of errors, further elevating the idea that this single coin could be one of the rarest modern mint anomalies ever documented. And collectors love anomalies that challenge what is known about mint processes, because it suggests there may still be mysteries left to discover in an age many assume to be error-free. But the value also comes from authenticity and certification, because if such a coin were submitted to grading agencies and authenticated under strict procedures, the resulting grading label would itself become historic, cementing the coin's place in numismatic culture. And the idea of certification adds another dimension, because once a coin like this is graded, encapsulated, and formally recognized, its value transitions from speculative to legendary, and its rarity becomes a matter of recorded history rather than rumor, increasing demand even more. But even without a confirmed public sale, the mere speculation of such a coin generates waves of interest, causing collectors to inspect their 2012 D nickels more closely, weighing them, studying the lettering, scanning for doubling, examining the fields for strike-through marks, and analyzing any unusual color shifts or textures that might indicate alloy variations. And this heightened search fuels the narrative, turning a simple 5-cent coin into a symbol of possibility, because it reminds collectors that extraordinary finds can still exist in modern circulation, especially when minting machinery, despite its precision, is not infallible. And in the world of errors, even a single misalignment, malfunction, or contaminated planchet can unintentionally create a masterpiece worth millions. And this is the heart of the fascination with the 2012 D nickel story, because it represents the perfect blend of mystery, rarity, mechanical anomaly, and collector anticipation. And whether the rumored specimen is in private hands, lost in circulation, or still undiscovered in a bank roll waiting for someone's lucky moment, the idea alone has already transformed the coin.